Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sam Ho, and today we're going to do a deep dive into how your mind works. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing 3 ways that you can influence your subconscious to change your thought patterns. Now, most of us will have heard of the law of attraction, which is that we attract and we become what we think. But why is this the case, and is it really true? Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise that happy and positive people will be able to point out all the things that are going great in their lives and all the things that they're grateful for, whereas negative people can only seem to point out all the things that are going wrong or always find something to complain about. You see, the state of our mind reflects what we can see in the world, and most importantly, it affects the way we live our lives. The placebo effect has proven that hospital patients who were given fake medicine, which they believed to be real, actually experienced a positive biological response and started getting better just because they thought they were going to get better. Now, this is not scientific and nor is it logical, and that's because it's psychological. And it's the same principle with success. Success is not scientific. It stems from a psychological mindset of believing in yourself. Right, so the key lesson here is to never underestimate the power of your thoughts. But just where do all of these thoughts in our mind actually come from? See, all of our deepest thoughts, intuitions and feelings originate from our subconscious mind. Now, our subconscious mind holds all of our life experiences, it contains all of our memories and beliefs, and these all form our unconscious biases and opinions, which in turn influences the way we speak, the way we act, and most importantly, the way we think. The best way to think of your subconscious mind is as this uncontrollable machine within you that's always spitting out all of these random thoughts and suggestions, which then get sent to your conscious mind. So whenever you have seemingly random thoughts that just kind of pop into your head, know that it's your subconscious that's putting those thoughts into your conscious mind. Just try sitting still for just a couple of minutes and try as hard as you can to keep your mind clear of thoughts. Chances are, no matter how hard you even try to resist it, seemingly random thoughts will still pop into your head, and that's not by conscious choice. And it's the same thing when we meet someone new for the first time and we form an initial first impression. We can't choose the way we feel about someone, just like how attraction's not a choice. We can't choose who we feel attracted to, and that's because it's all suggested to you by your subconscious mind. So if the role of your subconscious mind is this uncontrollable thought generating machine, then what's the role of your conscious mind? So your conscious mind is responsible for receiving all of these thoughts and impressions and feelings from your subconscious, and then it's to decide what to do with them. So the best way you can think of your conscious mind is as the gatekeeper. So for example, if one day your subconscious mind suggests to your conscious mind, hey, you know what, let's have a slice of cake. And then your gatekeeper would then receive these thoughts, look at them and be like, you know what, fine, agreed, let's go get a slice of cake. Or your gatekeeper could look at these thoughts and instead be like, you know what, we're not gonna have any more cake because we're on a diet. So in that case, your conscious mind has got the power to override and reject these thoughts from your subconscious mind. However much control that your gatekeeper has over the thoughts that it receives from your subconscious reflects how much self-control that you have over your mind. If you're someone who lacks self-control, then it's the same as having a gatekeeper that pretty much, receives all of these thoughts and suggestions and it's kind of like, yep, come on through, it accepts everything that gets suggested from your subconscious and nothing gets challenged and nothing gets rejected. So practically speaking, what does this mean? So this is when you become someone who speaks without thinking, or you act before thinking about the consequences, and you become someone who's just entirely driven by emotion and impulse, where you just say and do whatever comes to mind. Okay, so your subconscious mind is this uncontrollable thought machine, and your conscious mind is the gatekeeper of those thoughts that decides what you're going to do about it. But if your subconscious mind is something that you can't control, then how can you change your thought patterns? You see, although you can't control your subconscious mind in terms of you can't stop it from speaking to you, you can't turn it off at will, you can, however, influence the type of thoughts it creates, and you can influence the way it speaks to you using your conscious mind. And this can be so incredibly powerful and useful during times when, imagine when you have a goal that you're striving towards, and then you have periods of self-doubt, or you feel like you can't go on, or you feel like quitting. Then that's when your subconscious will start speaking to you. It will start saying, you know what, yeah, I don't think I can do this, or yeah, I think this is too hard, I don't think we can overcome this. And this is kind of the self-talk, and this is what your subconscious mind is putting into your conscious mind. Whereas if you can influence that, your subconscious, and influence that voice, then instead of saying all these negative things, it will actually say things like, you know, remember you've been through adversity before and you've overcome this, or don't give up, you know, remember why you started this in the first place. And this is all helpful thoughts, right? These are constructive thoughts that will help push you towards your goal, rather than thoughts that are going to hold you back, or even worse, kind of encourage you to quit or to give up. When you look at the central nervous system within our bodies, there's evidence to suggest that communication between the subconscious and the conscious mind actually works both ways, i.e. they influence each other. Now, your nervous system originates from your brain, and it's got the ultimate control over all of your thoughts. And the nervous system consists of the involuntary system and the voluntary system. Now, the involuntary system can be thought of as the organ of the subconscious mind. And that's because it's responsible for the things that are not within your conscious control. Things like keeping your heart beating, or running your digestive system. Whereas your voluntary system can be thought of as the organ of the conscious mind. And that's because it's responsible for the things that are within your direct conscious control. Things like you know, scratching an itch, or moving your hand away if you touch something sharp. And there is something called the vagus nerve, which connects the involuntary system with your voluntary system. And this is what represents a direct communications link between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. So what happens when you're thinking about something all the time is your brain sends a current from your voluntary to your involuntary system. And then that current gets reversed back from your involuntary to your voluntary system in a more defined form. When we have a problem that we're thinking about and we decide to sleep on it, or we don't consciously think about solving the problem, even though we're not consciously thinking about it, our subconscious mind is still working on the problem. And this is actually what's happening. And then when your subconscious mind has kind of worked through the problem and it manages to find a solution, that's when it then sends it back to your conscious mind in a more defined form. And then that's how you then feel, oh, you know what, I've just suddenly got a great idea, or I've just suddenly thought of the solution. And that's how you get these like sudden aha moments, or these revelations. And this also helps explain what happens at night when we dream. You know, while we're sleeping, our brain is tapping into our subconscious mind, and then it brings it to our conscious mind in a more defined form. And that's how we can see images, and we can experience our dreams and feel as if they're real. Okay, so we've established a link between your subconscious and your conscious mind. But is it difficult for one to influence the other? Now, what's interesting about your subconscious mind is that it's actually really easy to influence, and that's because it's extremely gullible. It will believe anything it sees or anything it hears. Now, this is obviously good if you want to influence your subconscious for the better, but equally it can also be bad if you're in a very depressing environment where everyone around you is very demotivating, or they're always like bringing you down. But this is where your conscious mind comes to the rescue of your subconscious mind's gullibility. So just as the skin on your body is there to protect the vulnerable insides of your body from your external environment, your conscious mind is there to protect your subconscious mind from the things that you hear or the things that you see. So for example, if someone was to say loads of negative things about you, like you know, you're never going to make it, or you're stupid, or you're a failure, etc. Now, all of these thoughts will first enter your conscious mind, and your gatekeeper will then first decide whether or not to accept or reject these thoughts, which ultimately means whether or not it will get passed on to your subconscious mind. But for young children whose conscious minds are still under development, you know, their gatekeeper is not as effective as an adult's, which means that they're a lot more sensitive to the things that they hear and the things that they experience, because all of these things will just directly seep into their subconscious. If you repeatedly tell a young child that, the reason why he can't complete his homework or the reason why he can't score a goal in football is because he's stupid, then, if you keep repeating this message to him, he will grow up believing that he's stupid. It would have seeped directly into his subconscious, and he will grow up and he will become an adult believing that he's stupid. And you can see how this can affect his life when he's an adult, when he wants to try something new, if he wants to learn something, if he wants to start a new business, he wants to take a new course, he wants to meet someone new. His subconscious is that voice in your head. He's always going to be telling himself, I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to try this because I'm stupid, or I'm not going to make it. It's his subconscious. It's deep within him that's telling him this, and it would have been rooted from when he was a kid, from the things that he heard that seeped into his subconscious that's telling him this. And this is why it's so important to encourage young children around us with supportive words and actions, because that's how we can plant this seed of positivity deep within their subconscious, so that when they grow up, they will have this positive mindset where they believe that they can achieve anything they want to achieve and they can be whoever they want to be. Okay, so now let's come on to the more practical question of the ways we can influence our subconscious to change our thought patterns. So the first way you can do this is through daily affirmations. Now, affirmations are essentially positive statements that you make about yourself, such as, I am someone who's in control over my emotions. I am someone who is positive and I inspire people around me to become better versions of themselves. And the thing with affirmations is that, you're not trying to convince yourself of anything. You're essentially just telling yourself who you already are. And the thing is, you also really need to believe in what you're saying from the bottom of your heart, because only once you accept it fully within your conscious mind will it then get passed on to your subconscious mind. Now, of course, you may think this is kind of silly, you just sitting there, speaking to yourself and telling yourself that, you're someone who's very positive, you're someone who always gets the job done, you always achieve your goals, and, you always find success. But remember, I explained how your subconscious mind is extremely gullible, and it will believe anything it sees and it will believe anything it hears. So if you keep repeatedly telling yourself that you are these things, then your subconscious mind won't know any better, and it will believe what you're telling it, and then you will slowly become that person, because it will start believing you and it will start creating these thoughts in your mind that you are this type of person. Affirmations condition your brain to help find ways to help them manifest in the real world. So essentially, it can be thought of as a positive form of confirmation bias, where imagine if one day you woke up and you told yourself it's going to be a great day. Then your brain will actually find reasons and will find ways to make it a good day, to prove that you're right. So it will affect the way you speak to people, or the way you think and the way you experience things, and you'll have a great day because you're convincing yourself that you are going to have a great day. Right, now the second way you can influence your subconscious mind is through something called subliminal messaging. Now, this is all the subtle ways that we get influenced without being consciously aware of what's happening. Darren Brown, one of the most famous illusionists and a master of psychology, once used the power of subliminal messaging to influence the subconscious mind of two advertising agents. Now, the two agents were asked to come up with an original idea for a poster. But what actually ended up happening was they designed a poster using the same idea that was planted in their mind by Darren Brown through subliminal messaging. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, and that's because it can process up to 1 million times more data than your conscious mind, which means the things that you're not aware of through your conscious mind, the things that you see, the things you hear, and the things you feel, your conscious mind won't pick this up, but your subconscious mind does. You remember that saying of, we are all the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with? Surround yourself with the people that motivate you or inspire you or that push you towards achieving your goals. Buy motivational and inspirational posters that you can hang up or put on your wall in your bedroom or in your house or in your flat. And the thing is, you don't need to consciously look at them every day. And it's because even though you're not consciously aware of them, they will still get registered and clocked by your subconscious mind. I'm trying to nurture and feed my subconscious with these positive affirmations of the things that I want to do, the things I want to achieve, or the kind of person who I want to be, so that when it becomes accepted, my subconscious mind will then start speaking to me in a different way, in a more positive and helpful way. Now, the third way you can influence your subconscious mind is not to fake it until you make it, but fake it until you become it. You know, imagine there's a type of person who you want to be, like you want to be a doctor, you want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to be an athlete, or whoever it is you want to be. Now, really think about what type of person this would be in terms of what kind of habits would this person have? What kind of personality traits would this person have? Like, is he an intellectual? Is he someone that would be reading a lot of books every day? Is he someone that would have quite a large social network? He's someone who's, you know, an extrovert and he likes to socialize a lot? Or is he someone that reads the business news every day? You know, what kind of person is this? And the reason why you want to figure these things out is because once you do, you want to start adopting those same habits, and you want to start developing those same personality traits for yourself right now of that type of person who you want to be. And by doing so, you are slowly becoming that person in your mind first, which is a prerequisite of how you can then become that person in reality. Everything is always created twice, first in your mind and then second in the physical world. If you can't become the person you want to be in your mind first, then you can't become that person in the physical world. In sports psychology, top athletes mentally visualize the outcome that they want, and they really try to experience what it feels like before they actually do it. What they're doing is they're creating that success in their mind first before they then manifest it in reality. Say, for example, you want to get a promotion to manager in the corporate world. Now, start acting and start thinking like a manager right now. And as you start doing the role of a manager, then when the vacancy comes for a managerial position, then it will become so much easier for you to get promoted into that role because you're already doing that role. And most importantly, you've convinced your subconscious mind that you are already that person. As you start adopting the same habits and you start developing the same personality traits of the person who you want to be, you are influencing your subconscious mind, and you're telling it that, you know, you're convincing it that this is the type of person who you already are. And when you convince it, it will then, the self-talk that you have in your mind, the random thoughts that you have in your mind, well, it won't be so random anymore, right? Because you would have influenced it to say the kind of things that will help you, the things that you want to hear in your own mind that will help you manifest your goal into a reality. All of us are really only bounded by the limitations of our own mind. So remember to think big, think positive, and always follow your dreams. Right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.